Hello everyone. There will come a time in your life when you'll walk alone. Not because you want to, but because life will test you that way. People will leave, doors will close, and the silence will feel heavy. But inside that silence, something powerful can be born. When everyone sleeps, your effort feels lonely. But those quiet hours, they are where winners are made. The world doesn't see you when you work late, when your eyes burn, when your heart breaks, when you whisper to yourself, "I'm not giving up." No one claps for that moment. No one says, "Good job." But that's the moment that changes everything. You see, success doesn't begin when people notice you. It begins when you keep going even when no one cares. It begins when you wake up with a heavy heart and still choose to fight. It begins when you train yourself to believe, "I can do it alone." Being alone is not a punishment. It's preparation. It's where life strips away distractions, so you can finally meet the real you. Most people never learn to win alone. They need noise. They need validation. They need people to say, "You're doing great." But real growth happens in silence. In those nights when you feel forgotten. In those mornings when no one checks on you. In those moments when you're your only supporter. That's where real strength is built. Maybe right now, you're in that season. You wake up tired. You feel unseen. You give your best, and it still feels like it's not enough. But listen to me. This season is not wasted. It's working for you. It's shaping you into someone unstoppable. People who can win alone never stay weak, because they've learned to depend on discipline, not emotion. They've learned to show up, even when they don't feel like it. They've learned to walk in silence, while others wait for applause. You want to win? Then learn to love those quiet, lonely hours. That's where your power grows. That's where your confidence is built. That's where you become the person who doesn't need the world's approval to rise. Don't fear loneliness. Fear being the same person forever. Because every lonely night you survive adds another layer of strength to your soul. You'll start noticing small changes. Your patience gets stronger. Your focus gets sharper. Your vision gets clearer. And one day, you'll wake up and realize you no longer need validation. You've become self-made. When others sleep, dream, or talk, you're doing the work. You're writing your story in silence. You're building your own name, your own path, your own future. It's okay if no one claps right now. It's okay if no one understands. Because when you finally rise, they'll ask, "How did you do it?" And you'll simply smile. Because they'll never understand the nights that built you. You went alone by not quitting when it hurts. You went alone by trusting your timing. You went alone by turning your pain into discipline. Keep reminding yourself, "I'm not behind. I'm becoming." Your time will come. But right now, this quiet fight is your training ground. Don't rush it. Don't escape it. Live it. Grow through it. Because when you can stand alone, you can stand anywhere. People will doubt you. They'll say you're wasting your time. They'll laugh when you fail. But those same people will later ask you for advice. They'll want to know how you made it. And you'll tell them the truth. "I kept going when no one believed in me." That's what winning alone means. It's not about showing the world your pain. It's about transforming that pain quietly into power. Every late night, every early morning, every lonely weekend, they're not wasted. They're building your future. When you walk alone, walk with faith. Because every step you take in silence is a step toward a louder victory. You don't need a crowd to move forward. You need courage. You don't need motivation every day. You need consistency. And you don't need anyone to understand your vision. You just need to keep building it. You're not behind. You're just early in your story. Keep showing up. Keep trying. Keep believing. Because one day, everything will make sense. And when that day comes, you'll look back and realize that walking alone was never a curse. It was your greatest blessing. You know what most people don't understand? They think winning is about being seen. They think success is about being noticed. But real winners, they don't chase attention. They chase improvement. When you're alone, the world is quiet enough for you to hear your own thoughts. And sometimes, that's the first step to power. Understanding what you really want. Ask yourself, what do I want when no one is watching? When no one is clapping? When no one even knows I'm trying? Because that's your truth. That's who you really are. The strongest people in history. They all walked alone for a while. Writers, athletes, dreamers, inventors. They were laughed at, doubted, rejected. But they kept showing up. They worked in silence. And one day, their work spoke for them. If you're in that lonely phase now, you're not failing. You're just becoming the kind of person who can handle success when it comes. Because success is heavy. It needs strong shoulders. And loneliness builds those shoulders. You see, when no one supports you, you learn to support yourself. When no one believes in you, you learn to believe harder. When no one helps you, you learn to create your own way. That's what winning alone really means. You don't wait for the world to open doors. You build your own. And yes, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it feels unfair. You'll wonder why life gave others a team and gave you only yourself. But maybe that's because you were meant to prove what one person can do. One focused, disciplined, consistent person is stronger than 100 uncommitted ones. So don't look at who left. Don't cry over who didn't show up. You're still here. You're still fighting. And that's enough. Every morning you wake up and try again. That's victory. Every time you fall and stand again. That's progress. You might not see the results yet, but the universe does. And it rewards the quiet fighters. You'll start noticing small blessings. A new idea, a better opportunity, a little more peace in your heart. Those are signs that your effort is working. Keep going when it's boring. Keep going when it's painful. Keep going when you don't feel ready. Because the day you stop, you'll only delay your miracle. Sometimes you'll want to give up. You'll say, maybe this is not for me. But remember, that's not your truth talking. That's your tiredness talking. Rest if you must, but never quit. You don't need to move fast. You just need to move forward. Even slow steps count. Even quiet days matter. Because motion, no matter how small, keeps your dream alive. And one day, the world will see the version of you that these lonely nights built. They'll see the confidence, the calm, the strength, but they won't know the cost. They won't know how many nights you talked yourself out of quitting. They won't know how many times you showed up tired, unseen, unappreciated. But you will know. And that's what makes the victory so powerful. Because winning alone doesn't just give you success. It gives you depth. It gives you self-respect. It gives you a relationship with yourself that no one can break. So while others chase followers, you chase peace. While others post results, you practice in silence. While others brag, you build. And when the time comes, you'll stand quietly in your success, knowing you earned it with your own hands. You'll realize that solitude taught you the one thing no teacher could: self-trust. You learn to trust your pace, your instincts, your decisions. And that's why you'll never fall the same way again. People will think you changed. But the truth is, you just met your real self. The version of you that doesn't need noise. The version of you that's calm in chaos. The version of you that can walk alone and still smile. That's power. That's freedom. That's what winning alone feels like. When you walk this road alone, you start hearing things that others never hear. The sound of your own heartbeat when you're scared but still moving. The sound of your breath when you're tired but still pushing. The sound of silence, and how it teaches you what peace really means. Most people run from silence because silence shows them who they are. It shows them their weaknesses, their fears, their regrets. But you're learning to face it. You're learning to sit with yourself and not run away. And that's rare. Because the world is noisy. Everyone is trying to distract themselves from their own emptiness. But the ones who can be alone, they become unstoppable. They don't need entertainment. They don't need approval. They don't need a crowd to feel alive. They have something more powerful, purpose. You'll notice that your circle will get smaller. You'll stop chasing people. You'll stop explaining yourself. Because you'll realize, not everyone can understand your journey. Some people are meant to walk with you for a chapter, not the whole book. And that's okay. You'll start feeling peace when people leave. Because you'll know, what's meant for you will never walk away. Your focus will shift from, why me? To, thank you. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the strength. Thank you for the loneliness that built my foundation. You'll understand that solitude isn't a punishment, it's an awakening. It wakes up the part of you that's been asleep under other people's noise. It reminds you that your dreams are valid. Even if no one claps for them yet. You'll start seeing life differently. You'll stop rushing. You'll stop comparing. You'll begin to trust that your path is unfolding exactly as it should. That's when you start to win. Not when you reach the goal, but when you stop doubting your direction. When you stop needing someone to tell you, you're doing great, and you start telling it to yourself. That's freedom. That's self-mastery. Winning alone teaches you that every setback was a setup, that every rejection was redirection, that every delay had a divine reason, because life was never against you. It was preparing you. When you understand that, loneliness turns into peace. Pain turns into wisdom. Disappointment turns into patience. And suddenly, you stop trying to prove yourself. You just become. You'll wake up one morning, look in the mirror, and you'll see someone you finally respect. Not because you're perfect, but because you never gave up on yourself. You'll remember all those nights you cried quietly, and you'll realize those tears watered your growth. They didn't weaken you. They cleaned you. You'll walk through the same places that once made you feel small. And now you'll walk tall, because you've outgrown that version of you. That's the beauty of winning alone. It's not just about success. It's about transformation. You don't come out the same person. You come out stronger, calmer, wiser. And here's the truth. People who can win alone can win anywhere. Because they're not afraid of starting over. They're not afraid of being misunderstood. They're not afraid of being different. They've learned that the crowd doesn't define the value of their dream. They've learned that peace is more valuable than popularity. They've learned that discipline is louder than words. You can lose people, jobs, money, but never lose yourself. Because the moment you know your own worth, you become unshakable. You'll start to understand that solitude isn't empty, it's full. Full of lessons, full of clarity, full of meaning. It's the space where ideas are born, where visions take shape, where the next version of you begins to rise. Don't rush to fill your silence with noise. Don't rush to replace people who left. Let the silence do its work. Let it rebuild you. Because when you come out of that quiet phase, you'll move differently. You'll speak less but mean more. You'll love deeper but choose wiser. You'll give without losing yourself. And most of all, you'll walk with confidence. Not the loud, showy kind, but the quiet kind that says, I know who I am now. That's how you win alone. Not by being better than others, but by becoming better than you used to be. You'll realize that your biggest enemy was never them. It was your own doubt. And once you silence that, no one can stop you. You will notice something strange about growth. It doesn't happen when life is easy. It happens when you're uncomfortable, unsure, and walking through storms alone. The truth is, loneliness is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your becoming. Every lonely night you survive is teaching you something your comfort never could. When you lose people, you learn who you are without them. When you lose stability, you learn to build your own foundation. When you lose approval, you learn to approve of yourself. And that's how real confidence is born. Not from praise, but from peace. You'll start realizing that the people who doubted you didn't know your heart. They saw your struggle, not your strength. They saw your failure, not your fight. But life saw it all. And it's keeping score. So don't waste energy proving them wrong. Prove yourself right. Prove that you can keep going, even when the road is dark and lonely. Because the truth is, the world doesn't owe you support, but you owe yourself a chance. A chance to see how far you can go. When you stop waiting for someone to walk beside you, sometimes you have to stop searching for people who understand your pain and start becoming the person who heals it. You can sit in your loneliness and curse it, or you can use it to sharpen your focus. Turn that pain into a plan. Turn that silence into study. Turn that isolation into transformation. While everyone else is distracted, you'll be developing. While they're sleeping on their dreams, you'll be working on yours. While they're busy talking, you'll be quietly building. And one day, the distance between who you were and who you become will take your breath away. You'll realize that all those quiet sacrifices, all those lonely mornings, all those invisible efforts were never wasted. They were the price you paid for peace. You'll learn that the hardest battles create the strongest warriors, and the most beautiful souls come from the darkest nights. There's something powerful about knowing that you can survive on your own, that even if everyone walks away, you'll still rise. That kind of confidence can't be bought. It can only be built. In silence, in struggle, in solitude, you'll start seeing your pain differently. It's not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's showing you who you are and who you can still become. The ones who can win alone learn to dance with their darkness. They learn to move forward. Even when their heart feels heavy, they learn to smile through the process. Because they know something others don't. That the pain is temporary, but the growth is forever. If you're walking this road alone right now, don't rush to escape it. Let it shape you. Let it make you stronger. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Prepared for the day when life opens the door you've been knocking on. Prepared for the moment when your silence turns into applause. Prepared for the chapter where everything finally connects. You'll look back and realize why the road had to be lonely. Because if you had company, you might have lost your focus. If you had support too early, you might have depended on it. But walking alone taught you that your strength was enough. You'll never fear solitude again, because you'll know what it gave you: clarity, direction, and control over your life. You'll be grateful for the ones who left, because their absence made room for your evolution. You'll thank the moments that broke you, because they built you differently. You'll understand that the ones who went alone don't win because they had the easiest path. They win because they refused to quit on the hardest one. And maybe right now, you don't see any signs of success. Maybe you just see effort, fatigue, and silence. But don't mistake silence for failure. Sometimes silence means growth. The seed grows underground before it ever touches sunlight. And you're that seed right now, quietly expanding roots, quietly building your foundation. You may feel invisible, but you're not forgotten. You're being prepared for visibility. And when that day comes, you'll shine effortlessly. Because you'll be ready. That's why the lonely nights matter. That's why you can't quit. Because the day you bloom, the world will finally see what your silence was creating all along. One day, everything you're doing now will make sense. All the nights you stayed awake. All the times you had no one to call. All the times you worked without being seen. They will all add up to something bigger than you ever imagined. Because growth doesn't announce itself. It happens quietly, deep inside you. And then one morning, you wake up stronger, calmer, clearer. You start walking differently. You start talking differently. You start choosing peace over noise. That's when you know you're winning. Not when people praise you, but when you no longer need their praise. The truth is, everyone wants success. But few are willing to be lonely for it. They want the reward without the isolation. The spotlight without the silence. But the silence, that's where your greatness grows. You see, solitude teaches you patience. It teaches you how to wait without breaking. It teaches you that what's meant for you will never need chasing, only preparation. You'll realize that the journey alone was never about being isolated. It was about becoming independent, becoming emotionally strong, becoming mentally unshakable. When life takes away your comfort, it's not cruelty, it's construction. It's removing what's weak, so it can build what's strong. Every moment you felt left out, life was pulling you back to focus. Every person who walked away was clearing space for peace. Every delay was protecting you from something that wasn't ready for you. You'll start seeing this pattern clearly, and you'll begin to thank your loneliness. Because without it, you would have never met this new version of yourself. The one that doesn't beg to be understood. The one that walks quietly with purpose. The one that trusts the process, even when it hurts. Winning alone is not about arrogance. It's about awareness. It's about knowing that your dream is sacred, and not everyone deserves access to it. So guard your energy. Protect your focus. Don't let temporary feelings destroy permanent goals. Some days, the weight will feel too heavy. You'll question everything. Your plan, your purpose, even yourself. But remember, doubt is part of the climb. Every person who ever built something meaningful walked through the valley of doubt. You just can't stop there. You have to walk through it. Because on the other side of doubt is discovery of who you really are. When you're alone, you start hearing your inner voice louder. And that voice knows the way. It tells you when to rest. It tells you when to keep pushing. It tells you when something isn't right for you anymore. Trust it. That voice is wisdom earned through struggle. You'll start realizing that your peace is worth more than your popularity. You'll stop trying to please everyone. And you'll start protecting your peace like treasure. And as you do that, you'll attract people who respect your boundaries, who understand your silence, who match your energy. That's the beauty of winning alone. When you finally win, you won't attract users. You'll attract equals. Because the energy you give is the energy you draw. You'll know the difference between those who come for your light and those who come to protect it. And that wisdom will save you years of pain. So don't rush your growth. Let your loneliness build your discernment. Let it teach you to recognize realness. Let it show you that being alone isn't the same as being unloved. You are loved by the future you're building, by the peace you're creating, by the life that's waiting for you to arrive. Keep showing up, even when it's quiet, even when it's cold, even when it feels like no one notices. Because the world doesn't reward noise. It rewards results. And one day, you'll have results that speak louder than any explanation ever could. That's when you'll understand. You were never truly alone. Life was always walking with you. even when no one else was. There comes a point when the loneliness starts to fade. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because you got stronger. You begin to notice that the same silence that once scared you now feels peaceful. The same solitude that once hurt now feels sacred. You stop chasing things that drain your energy. You stop explaining your dreams to people who never cared to understand them. You start protecting your time, your focus, your heart, because you finally realize not everyone deserves access to you. You've learned something most people never do. That you can be your own peace. You can be your own motivation. You can be your own reason to keep going. You've stopped waiting for permission to start. You've stopped waiting for validation to feel worthy. Now you just move. Quietly. Confidently. And that quiet confidence becomes your superpower. It's funny how the world changes. When you change inside, the same things that used to make you cry don't hurt you anymore. The same rejection that used to break you now fuels your focus. The same silence that once felt cold now feels like freedom. Because you finally understand. You were never losing people. You were losing distractions. You were never being punished. You were being redirected. You start to see purpose in everything. Every goodbye, every delay, every door that closed. You start thanking the pain for showing you your strength. You start thanking the struggle for sharpening your spirit. And slowly, life starts to move differently around you. Opportunities appear where there used to be walls. Peace replaces pressure. Clarity replaces confusion. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Try me." Because the person who wins alone isn't afraid of challenges anymore. They've faced themselves. And once you face yourself, nothing outside you can defeat you. You begin to rise. Not loudly, not suddenly, but steadily. Your steps become lighter. Your goals feel clearer. Your mornings feel meaningful again. And one day, something beautiful happens. You look around and realize you no longer crave the crowd. You no longer miss the noise. You feel at peace in your own company. You smile for no reason. You feel proud quietly. That's the moment you truly win. Because real winning isn't about trophies. It's about transformation. It's about becoming so grounded that no storm can move you anymore. The things that once made you insecure now make you wise. The things that once made you feel small now make you grateful. Because you understand what it took to get here. You understand how many battles were fought in silence. And that understanding becomes your armor. You start helping others quietly. You start inspiring without even trying. Because your energy speaks louder than your words now. People see your calm, your patience, your light. And they feel it. They don't know what you've been through. But they feel your strength. They feel the peace you carry. And that's how the one who walked alone becomes a light for others. You didn't just survive loneliness. You mastered it. You turned it into wisdom. And now, you carry that wisdom wherever you go. The world starts to open up. Not because it suddenly likes you, but because you're finally aligned with it. You stopped fighting the flow. You started trusting the timing. And now everything starts falling into place. It's not magic. It's maturity. It's alignment. It's the reward for all the nights you didn't quit. You realize that winning alone was never about proving anyone wrong. It was about proving to yourself that you could do it. And now that you have, you move with quiet confidence. You don't need to announce your plans. You don't need to defend your path. You simply walk with purpose, with peace, with power. And those who once doubted you now see you differently. Not because you shouted louder, but because you stayed consistent longer. That's how real winners rise. Slowly, silently, steadily. The moment you start winning after walking alone feels different. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. It's calm. It's a peace that says, I made it through. You don't even feel the need to announce it, because you remember what it took to get here. The nights no one saw. The tears no one comforted. The faith no one understood. You remember the silence. And that memory keeps you humble. When success finally finds you, it doesn't fill your ego. It fills your heart. Because you know what it means to have nothing but hope. You know what it means to believe with no proof. And that memory makes you grateful for everything. You start valuing things differently now. Peace feels better than attention. Stability feels better than excitement. Depth feels better than drama. Because you've tasted loneliness, you no longer settle for shallow. You begin to move with calm energy. People notice it. They can't explain it. But they feel something solid about you. Something they can trust. Because when you've walked alone, you develop an energy that can't be faked. It's the energy of someone who has seen darkness and still chooses light. You'll find yourself surrounded by new people. Not the loud ones, not the users, but the real ones. People who speak peace, not chaos. People who respect your boundaries. People who match your effort. Because the universe always replaces what you lose with something better once you're ready. You start seeing that winning isn't just about results. It's about evolution. You've evolved into someone wiser, someone kinder, someone unshakable. And that's the kind of winning no one can take from you. When people ask you, what's your secret? You'll smile softly, because they won't understand that your secret wasn't magic. It was discipline. It was patience. It was faith when you had no reason to keep believing. They'll see your calm, but they won't see the chaos you survived. They'll see your confidence, but they won't see the countless times you had to rebuild it from scratch. They'll see your glow, but they won't know about the nights you cried in the dark. That's why your victory feels sacred. It belongs to you. It's not for show. It's not for attention. It's proof that you didn't give up on yourself. When you finally reach this point, you stop competing with others. You stop rushing. You stop explaining your path. Because you know, the race was never against them. It was always against the old you. You become softer, not colder. Because the pain didn't harden you, it healed you. It taught you compassion. It taught you patience with others who are still struggling. It taught you to see that everyone's battle is different. And now, instead of needing applause, you give encouragement. You tell people, it's okay to be alone. It's okay to take time. It's okay to start over. Because you know how that silence feels. That's real success. When you can reach back and lift someone else without losing your balance. You'll realize that the best kind of power is gentle power. The kind that doesn't need to shout. The kind that speaks through presence, not noise. And the best kind of success is the one that brings you peace. You'll sleep better. You'll smile more. You'll breathe deeper. Because you no longer need to prove anything. You'll stop saying, one day I'll make it. Because you already did. The day you decided not to quit. You'll walk through life differently now. Grateful. Grounded. Focused on what matters. You'll protect your mind from negativity. You'll protect your energy from chaos. Because you've worked too hard to find your peace. And you're not losing it again. That's the reward of winning alone. You get to keep your soul in the process. Hello again, my friend. If you're still watching, I want you to know something. You've already done the hardest part. You've faced life alone, and that takes courage most people will never understand. When you were in the dark, you didn't run. You didn't quit. You sat with your pain until it taught you. You faced your own reflection when it wasn't easy to look. And because of that, you've become someone rare. Not everyone can walk through fire and stay kind. Not everyone can lose everything and still love deeply. Not everyone can feel broken and still show up every day trying to heal. But you did. That's why your story matters. That's why your silence was never wasted. It was shaping you. It was refining you. It was preparing you for something far beyond what you could see. You thought you were being punished. But you were being prepared. You thought life was breaking you down. But life was building you quietly, piece by piece, teaching you patience, endurance, and emotional strength. Now when you look back, you'll understand why everything had to happen the way it did. The people who left, they had to leave so you could find yourself. The failures, they had to happen so you could learn what real success feels like. The loneliness, it had to test you so you could learn to stand tall. And now you're here. Not the same person. Not the same heart. Not the same soul. You've evolved. You've grown roots in silence. And now it's time for your light to grow. From here on, life will still challenge you. But you'll face it differently. You'll no longer chase people. You'll attract peace. You'll no longer beg for attention. You'll command respect. You'll no longer need validation. Because you'll finally know your own worth. You'll walk into rooms silently confident, knowing you belong anywhere you choose to be. Because you built that power from within. You've learned that confidence isn't noise. It's peace. You'll look at the people who doubted you. And you won't even feel anger. You'll just feel gratitude. Because they pushed you to discover your own strength. They made you realize you didn't need them to become great. And that's when you truly win. When you can smile at the past, without bitterness in your heart. You'll realize that solitude isn't punishment. It's a sacred space where real transformation begins. It's where you learn who you are without the world's opinions. It's where you fall apart and rebuild stronger, clearer, purer. You don't just win alone. You become someone who doesn't need to win to feel worthy. You stop chasing things that drain you. You start nurturing what feeds your soul. And that's where real peace begins. Winning alone doesn't mean you'll always be alone. It means you'll never again depend on anyone for your peace. You'll love differently, without fear. You'll give freely, without expectation. You'll live honestly, without pretending. And that's the highest form of victory. So if you're watching this right now in your quiet room, with tired eyes and a heavy heart, I want you to take a deep breath. You're doing better than you think. You're already stronger than you realize. And one day soon, you'll look back at this lonely chapter and smile. Because it was the chapter that changed everything. When everyone slept, you worked. When everyone doubted, you believed. When everyone gave up, you kept going. And those quiet hours built the future you're about to step into. You didn't just survive alone. You won alone. And now, the world will see what silence was creating all along. So keep going. Keep growing. Keep shining quietly. Because when it's your time, nothing can stop what's meant for you. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. And this time, you'll walk forward not with fear, but with peace. Because now you know, you were never truly alone. You were being guided, tested, and shaped for this very moment. And now, you're ready to win. Completely, calmly, beautifully. Alone, but not lonely. Strong, but still soft. Quiet, but powerful beyond words. That's how you win alone. So before you go, I just want to say this. Wherever you are right now, whatever you're carrying inside, don't lose faith in yourself. You've come too far to doubt your own strength. You've walked through storms that would have broken many. And still, you're here, breathing, learning, trying again. That means something. That means you're meant for more. Sometimes the world won't clap for you. Sometimes no one will notice the progress you've made. But keep going anyway. Because the right people, the right moments, the right doors, they'll find you. They always do. Every lonely night, every quiet morning, every small act of discipline, it's not wasted. It's shaping you into someone unstoppable. So don't rush your journey. Don't compare your path. You're not late. You're just becoming. And when you finally win, when peace replaces chaos, when calm replaces fear, you'll realize it was never about being seen. It was about being true. If this message touched your heart, remember, you are not alone. There are millions out there feeling the same silence, learning to rise in their own way. So keep your head up. Keep your heart open. Your light is needed. Thank you for spending these minutes with me. If you're on your own journey, if you're quietly working toward your dreams, know that this space is for you. Stay with me. We'll keep walking this road together. One story, one lesson, one quiet victory at a time. Take care of your mind. Protect your peace. And never forget, you were built to rise.